Okay, today I'm going to do some more text on panels, but this time we're going to do it over the edge and also some on the panel itself. So first of all, I'm going to take the word happy. Now, let's just change that font. I'm going to use one of the built-in fonts, Brussels will do. Just change that, then I'm going to type birthday separately. I'm doing this all lowercase, you can do uppercase, lowercase, it makes no difference. Okay, so what I'm going to do is divide birthday, because what I want to do is bring the I down, I'll just zoom in a little bit there, to weld it together. Okay, so I'm going to weld it, and it's all part of one letter now. If you go to highlight your word again and you see a whole lot of little squares with these cutouts, you need to remove them first. But in this case, it's not a problem with this particular font, so I'm just going to weld that together. Group it together in the layers menu. So let's go back to our happy. I want to make this, I'm going to the edit menu, I'm going to maintain the aspect ratio, and I'm going to make it 100 millimeters wide. Okay, I'm now going to bring in a rectangle. And I'm going to turn the aspect ratio off because I'm going to adjust both sides. I'm going to make it 105 millimeters by 85 millimeters. I think that's about the size I want. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is highlight the happy and the panel and highlight the happy in the panel and center them on the edit menu, aligning them in the middle so it's placed right where I want it. Now I'm just going to place it where I want it. That's about where I need it. So I'm just going to copy the happy before I go any further because we want to do something else with that in a minute. Now just going to highlight both of those and weld them. So there we go. It gives us that happy for the top. Now, just so we can see what we're doing, I'm going to colour that red, and I'm going to colour this one yellow. Okay. Now I'm going to highlight both, and I'm going to go to the edit menu, the align objects. I'm going to align the top and the centre, so the happies are both in the same place. Now I can't see my other text, so going into the layers menu, I'm going to right click on the happy that's behind. I can tell because it's not red, and I'm going to arrange it and bring it to the front. Okay, now going to look at another rectangle and into the edit screen, and I'm just going to make it 105 millimeters wide, so it's just the same as width as the other one. It doesn't need to be quite as tall. So what I'm going to do now is highlight them all and center them. So everything's centered. I just need to make that a bit bigger. I'm going to end up with them. Okay, now I've got to place this. So I'm going to take it up a little bit from what I have now. This is going to cut the bottom part of the P and the two P's and the Y. So I don't want it too thin because I want it to be able to stay there. So you can see I've just put it marginally below. So what I'm going to do now is move my red piece out. I'm going to highlight both of those and hit subtract on the process overlap menu. That's over here on the right hand side, the last of the process overlap options. I now have my those bottom bits that I want cut out. I've just got to line them up. What I might do is just take it up so the edge of the P lines up. Let's go in a bit more. I think it just needs to go over just a fraction. There we go. We can see the edges of the P's are lined up. So I'm just going to take it down that little bit. Zoom out a little bit. Highlight both of those and click weld. Not weld, wrong one. Yes, well, we do the wrong one, don't we? We're going to the edit menu, to the process overlap and remove overlap. take those off now. Just take them off to the side. There we go. It's cut the bottom of the P and the Y, the P's and the Y on there. So that gives me the happy. Now, we're going to take the birthday. And we want that. I'm going to maintain the aspect ratio on this, but I need it to be also about 100 wide. So proportionally it's going to be a little bit smaller than the happy. I'm going to bring it there, go into my layers menu, pick up this group, which is the birthday, arrange and bring to front, just so I can see it. Now I'm going to highlight it all, go back to my edit menu and center. Okay, so now it's just a matter of placing it as far down as I want it. I think I'll just take it a little bit closer. Okay, so I'm going to highlight it all and go to remove overlap and move that off, and I can delete birthday now. So there it is, happy birthday. It's as simple as that. What we have to look at now is those letters that have centers in them, because as they stand at the moment, there'll be, it would cut around all the B, then it would cut that, but that would go, that little centerpiece in the B would go. So we've got to do what we call a bridge. Now we need to do the B, the D and the A. There's a couple of ways you can do this. You can, in the first place, oh sorry, I hit the wrong button then, just let me delete that. You can, in the first place, use a stencil font, but this is not a stencil font, so this is how we fix it. So let's just go out a bit. I want a tiny rectangle, let's say 2 millimeters wide. Oh, let's maintain the aspect ratio. Let's make it about 4 millimeters long for the minute. Oh, I need to be able to see it, so let's just make it a little bit bigger so we can see it. Okay, I'm going to zoom in again. Okay, now I'm going to make it just there, which is about 1.4 millimeters wide. Let's try and get it down to, yeah, that we need enough for it to be substantial enough to hold it. Now we're going to need 3, so I'm going to copy it. So I've got 3. Okay, so now what I need to do is place it on each letter. Where you place it is entirely up to you. So I want to place, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller and right on the edge there. Now if I highlight both of those and hit weld, you can see that it's put a little break in there, so that piece will stay. I'm going to do the other two. So again, I want it fairly close. I'm going to leave that one there, and I'm going to turn this one just a little. Oops. I need to send that to the back so that I can pick up the ones in the front. There we go. So I'm just going to move that one over a smidgen and this one over a smidgen. Now, when I'm happy with all that, I'm just going to highlight and weld so that I have these cut out and those little centers will stay. Now, while I've got that there, I'm going to hit divide. See if we can get, no, we can't get that out. So what I'm going to do is double click on it. Now, I'm going to click on one of those and delete. Or if it won't delete, hit the delete point up there. I just want to take out that little cutout in there because I fear There we go. That's going to look better cut. So that's how easy it is to do it in block letters. Whether you do it uppercase or lowercase, it's just the same. I'll just colour that so you can see the finished effect. And that's what it looks like. It will cut like that. It will sit on the front of a card. Okay, what if we want to do it in cursive text? Now we can do it in cursive text. So let's pick a font. Again, I'm going to type happy, and I'm going to type birthday, separate. I'm going to highlight them and find a font that I like. Yes, well, there's a gazillion fonts, of course, that you can use. Let's have a look at this one. Oh, no, definitely not. I think I might use, let's have a look at this. You want something that's reasonably straight. No, I'm going to go for Samantha font, my favourite cursive font. So Samantha. It will change them both. It's just taking its time. Apart from anything else, my computer's on a go slow. Okay, now I'm just going to zoom in so you can see this. You can see that actually those letters are not, there's cut lines in there. You can, by going to your property screen, adjust the character spacing. So just looking carefully, if I take it down one, they move over just that little bit and it looks a little better. Once I've got that sitting where I want it, I can go into my edit menu and weld it together. And you can see that they're all joined together. Now, that's a bit thin for what I want. Well, let's actually have a look at it 100 millimeters wide, because I'm going to use the same width. Oh, sorry, didn't have the aspect ratio on. Let's try that again. So highlight, in the edit menu, maintain aspect ratio 100 millimeters. I think that's going to be wide enough for what I want, but if it wasn't, okay, what do we do? Let's move that out there. We go to happy, we go to create offset line, and we do a 1 millimeter wide offset line. So let's, whoops, oh, dearie me. Okay, let's highlight it again, going to edit, create offset line. We just want an outward. We also want it to do the little bits in the middle. It's 1 millimeter. We're going to click OK. Now we'll move it off. Actually, that does look a bit better, doesn't it? I might use that one. So I'm going to use happy. So I'll delete this one. Now I need to do the same with birthday, of course, to keep it uniform. So first of all, I'm going to the properties menu. I'm doing a -1 for joining it, going to the edit menu and welding it. Not quite happy with that. Did it weld? I'm going to hit Control and Z. What I can see here is just the R and the I don't look good together, so I'm going to hit minus, delete again. Control and Z to undo. It's separate there now. Now I'm going to try this again. So back to the properties menu. I'm just going to go back to 0 to see if that makes it. Oh, that's better. I'm going to have to leave this one at 0 for that reason. So I'm not going to adjust the width there, but I am going to weld it together. Now, with our maintain aspect ratio on, I'm going to make this 95 millimeters wide. Oh, that hasn't welded. Let's have another go. There we go. There was just a little bit in there that wasn't welded. Okay, so happy with that. Now, what I'm going to do is divide. And the reason I'm going to divide is because I need it to come down the dot on the I again and weld. Because it doesn't matter if you don't want the dot on the I, but if you do. Now, because we put a offset on the other one, I want to do the same with this. It's all the same settings, so we just click OK. And okay, delete that and go out. Okay, so we've got our two words. Oops, not that far. Got our two words. You can see the birthday is just a little bit smaller, but that's fine. Okay, so we've got our happy. If you wanted to adjust any of these gaps, here's what you can do. If you click twice, you get your nodes. Oh, actually, it's a separate piece. If I didn't want that little piece there, I could just hit delete. Then I could hit the nodes. So 2 clicks and you get the nodes. Okay, so we could just bring this down a little bit. Don't want any sharp edges. Bit of a sharp edge. Let's click again. And so what I did then was select a symmetrical handle, and that looks much better. Now, what I could do here is delete that one. Oops, just wanted to select it, I didn't want to hit nodes. Delete that one. Copy that one and paste it. And just line it up in there. So I could line them easily by aligning the tops. Okay, very close in, it looks a bit rough, but it will cut fine. So I've just made a slight change to it. This, I feel, could be a bit wider. So again, I'm going to select the symmetrical handles and just take it out a bit. Now, I'm going to click on that node and delete it. Click on that node and delete it. Click on that node and delete it. Click on this node, make it a symmetrical handle, and just take it up a bit. It's just, it takes practice. Okay, it's still a bit flat on the top there. So using the symmetrical one, oops. Okay, now I'm going to copy that one because there's a H in happy birthday. To save me doing it again, I'm just going to put it off to the side. Okay, let's go out a little bit. That's just practicing with your nodes. You could leave it just as it was, you can play with it, it's up to you. The other thing you could do is also take the one from the A and see how that looks in the P. So let's just take that out. Actually, I like that better, so I'm going to go that way. So, copy that again, paste. Now what I'm going to do is pick up all three and align the top. Just looking at it to make sure everything's happy, and that might even look alright in the H. Let's have a look. bit longer maybe. So I have found that sometimes you can just, oh no, not happy with that. Nodes are one of those things you just keep playing with. So what I'm going to do is, these are all grouped together. So what I'm going to do is ungroup. They're grouped because they were part of the letter. So I'm just going to delete that, delete those. Copy that one and just paste it off there to use in the other word. Now, highlight all those. You can see that they're separate. But if I move this one, you can see that's not going to work. So what I need to do with these ones, whoops, the Y I need to, is that a bit bigger than the H? Yes, it is. Let's just delete that one and put that one in there. That's better. You could play with nodes for hours. It's just one of those things. So I'm just going to leave those two up there. I need to, because it actually took the other one out of the bottom, I just need to put one back in the Y, don't I? So place it and just use your arrows to get it where you want it. Highlight the lot and weld it together. Nope. Highlight the lot and remove overlap. Now, I then need to remove all these little bits, but they have been so it was there twice, really. Okay, happy with the happy now. Okay, I hope I haven't made that too complicated for you, but let's have a go. We want a rectangle. I'm going to turn off the aspect ratio and I'm going to make it 105 millimeters wide and again 85 millimeters high. Other than that, the process is pretty much the same as we did for the block letters. So I'm just going to place it roughly about where I want it. I'm going to center it. I'm going to copy the happy because we need that again in a minute. I'm going to highlight both of those and I'm going to weld. Okay, now I'm going to colour that so we can see what we're doing. Okay, I'm going to colour this so we can see what we're doing with that. Okay, I'm going to highlight them and centre them and align the tops. It's behind it, we can't see it, so I'm going into the layers, clicking on that shape, arrange and bring to front. Okay, now we need another rectangle and I'm going to make this one 105 millimeters wide. Okay, now it doesn't need to be that high, so I'm just going to do that. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Now this is where we're just picking where we want it. Now just to be sure I've got everything where I want it, I'm going to center them all and they're centered. Once I'm happy I've got the right distance there, now in this case I don't want to cut the bottom of the H and the A, so I'm just going to go down a bit. But if you wanted that in there, then you would need to make sure they're within this top square. So moving that off, highlighting these two, hitting subtract, which is the last one, we're just left with those. Now what I'm going to do with those is divide them because it has been careful. Okay, so it has just brought in the bottom of those other letters and I don't want those, so just deleting them. And then I'm going to group them. The reason I'm going to group them is because it will keep them in the right aspect. Okay, so oops, and we've got a little bit up here we need to get rid of too. Okay, So bringing that back up, lining up the edges of our peas, and just taking the down arrow to there. And I think I need to take it just a smidgen that way. That looks alright. Highlight both. Go to our edit menu and subtract. Now it doesn't look like, oh there you go, it does, because it doesn't look like it's done anything, but it has, it's subtracted it. So there's the happy done. Let's go out a little bit. We've got our birthday over here somewhere. Here it is, birthday. Now because of the, what we might do is have a look at the letters first. Now, I'm going to divide it. I'm going to delete each of these. I have to delete them twice because it has it's just highlighting that little shape there. It's left that one. Delete that one. Oh! Don't delete the whole thing, just highlight that one. Getting what you want is not always easy. Delete. Okay. Now, tedious, but you can hold down your shift key. Hit as many of these as you can see. The more you zoom in, the more you can see. Oh. And hit the remove there. I'm just going to go in a bit more so I can see a few more. So click and shift, click and holding your shift, click and holding your shift. And remove. Okay, so we go over to here. Get as many as you can in one go by holding your shift key. There's one more there. And remove. And last one. And I'm going to replace them with the same shape I used on the happy, which I've copied and pasted. One more in there and remove. Okay, just go out a little bit so I can see where I've put that. There it is. Now, this is marginally smaller. So holding the shift key, the birthday is marginally smaller than the happy. So I just want to make this marginally smaller. It's just then a matter of making sure I haven't made it too small or too big. Whoops. Highlighting just that piece. Oops, I'm going to send that to the back. If you're having trouble picking up a piece, you do need to just use your arrange and send it to the back. Now, we should be able to pick up this piece here. We can. So just placing it in there. I think I still need it just a smidgen narrower. And therefore I'm going to need to turn it just a little bit more. When I'm happy with it, and I'm happy with it, I'm going to copy it and do two more. And I'm going to place them there. And I'm going to select all three and align the tops so I know they're lined up. And this one just, it's a matter of eye coordination now, just looking to see that you've got it where you want it. Okay, I don't like that. Just going to take that out there. I need to take that out. They're all extra ones there now. I'm going to need to take the nodes out on this one and replace that funny little bit there. So, okay, again with our shift key, zooming in as far as we can, highlighting them all. Oops. And removing up here on the delete point. Oh, I left a couple in there, so they've stayed. So remove and delete. Okay, now this one. Okay, holding my shift key again, zooming in a bit more. The closer you're in, the more you can see. Highlighting all those little nodes. Deleting the points. Missed a little one down the bottom here. I think I've missed two actually. Disappears, just click twice. Okay, now clicking off there will take the nodes away, and we've got this little piece here that we're going to stick in the B. So let's have a look at that. Let's go out a bit to make sure he's in proportion. I think I would like it just a little wider. Okay. Okay. So, oops. So highlight all of it and weld. Not weld. Oh, one of these days I'll get those right the first time. Highlight them all. Just need to take the extra one out of here. Highlight them all. So the only extra boxes coming up here are, no, I was going to say the ones we've put in, but there's that one there. Highlight it all. We put that in, we put that in, we put that in, and we put that in, and we're going to subtract. And there you go, all in one piece. This is good practice for using bits of the machine. Okay, bits of the program. So what I'm going to do is place birthday there and center the, use the center alignment just to make sure it's in the center. Then I'm going to highlight both and subtract. So we've got the birthday there. Now we need to go in here a little bit and we come back to our bridges again. Now you can see that there are quite a few pieces in here we need to bridge. There's 2 on the B, the top of the H, 2 on the D and the A. So we'll get a rectangle. Let's just make it about 1 millimeter wide. About 1.5 millimeters, roughly. Okay. And place it where you want it. This can be anywhere you want it. And now with the H, sorry, the top, I think I might do it sort of right about there. So to get the others in the same spot, I'm going to place them in there. I'm going to select those 3 and align the tops just to even it out as I cut it. And I can see I've got a little bit of room for movement there. So they're all going to be in the same spot across. Okay, so we need one for the D and the A. That was the wrong thing to move, wasn't it? So it wasn't picking up what I wanted, so arrange, I've highlighted that and I'm sending it to the back, which will allow me to pick up these. Just going to put that in there, and this one I'm going to turn a little bit because the D is slightly different to the B, but the A is pretty much, oh no, the A needs to go around a little bit too. When I'm happy with the placement of all of those, highlight them and weld them. And you've got those bits. Now, I don't know that I'm overly happy. What you would do is Control and Z and move them about a bit. So this one looked like it needed to turn a little bit more. And these three, I want to keep those three level. So I'm going to take them up a bit. I just didn't like where it was. This then just all becomes a matter of where you want it. I'm happy with that, but perhaps it's a little bit too far apart. If you wanted these pieces to come off, again, go into the nodes and take it off. So let's colour it, see if we're happy with it. That's what it would look like cut in cardstock. So we can delete that little bit up there, and there we have two panels with different types of text cut. Now if you were feeling like these were too thin, it would be a matter of making those little cutouts a little bit smaller. I wouldn't too often do this in cursive. I'll be more likely to be doing it in block letters, and I prefer that sort of look, but there you go, that's how you do it. Now you just ended up with two shapes in here. There's no layer control, you just send them off to the computer to cut as you want. I would save it. I've got all my Canvas files here. I finally tidied them all up. And I've got card panels, and I'm going to put, I've already done this before, but I'm going to call this text over edge 2. I have it saved. I can bring it into here and do it anytime I want. You could export it as an FCM as well, or just transfer it to your machine. So I hope you've enjoyed that and that you've got something to try. Thank you. Just before we complete the project, there are a couple of things that I forgot to do in here, so we just need to do them. With the bridges, of course, we need to bridge the Y's. So just send that to the back again. Okay. Make this about a millimetre. Just have a look at our size. 1.5, that's good. Okay, so I'm just going to put that there, and what happens when you pick up the wrong thing, isn't it? And some days are just not meant to happen, are they? Okay, arrange, send to back, pick up that one, Control and C, Control and V, and bring it down to this one. And also there's a little piece in there. So what I'm going to do with that is cut a very fine edge off the T. So it's going to, I could do this with the nodes, but I think I'd prefer to do it this way than fiddle with nodes. So I'm going to zoom in, move it over a fraction, too far. Don't want to take anything off the H, and I want it very thin. Okay, let's just go out again, highlight all of those, and weld. So it's just giving us that bit of a break in there, and on the Y's. And we'll just check this one. This one is all fine because the Y is a separate issue, and it's got a cut down there. Okay, so that was just that to do. Again, I'll colour it for you. Let's go blue again. And it'll keep all those little bits in the middle. Good luck with your pattern.